In this segment, I'd like to show you two of our most popular Fluke cameras, the TiR and the TiR1. Okay? The TiR is on the right-hand side and the TiR1 is on the left-hand side. Now, these cameras are perfect for performing building moisture investigations and building envelope investigations. And each camera is an excellent value for the quality and the features that you get. So, how much are they? I'm sure that's what you're wondering. The TiR costs $44.95 and the TiR1 costs $69.95. And both of them are being used successfully by energy auditors, by home inspectors, water damage restoration technicians, and basically any professional that's involved in solving building-related issues. So the point is, you can't go wrong with either of these cameras. They both work fine. They're both very, very sensitive. But now some people are very nervous when handling a piece of equipment that costs this much. Maybe that's what you're thinking about. So we want you to relax. Notice how rugged they're built. And I saw a video where they were dropping these cameras from a height of 6.5 feet. And they kept dropping them and they would bounce and they worked just fine. And the point was that Fluke designed and manufactured these cameras to be used in very rough areas. They're not fragile like some IR cameras I've seen in the industry. And to be realistic, there's a good chance that you will drop your camera at some time in the future. You just don't want to drop it and it explode on you. Okay? Now, another question that some have is this the latest technology? What is the latest technology? What comes to my mind is IR fusion. And both of these cameras have the IR fusion technology. That's one of the greatest technological advances in thermography in the last decade. It was introduced in 2006 by Fluke. And there are certain features of this technology that are patent pending by Fluke. So not all so-called fusion cameras from other companies are truly IR fusion technology. So you want to make sure to get the real thing, get the Fluke IR fusion camera. The reason it's called IR fusion is because these cameras give you both the visible light image and the infrared image at the same time. They're fused together. And when you carefully focus your infrared lens, which is very important, you get it sharp in focus, well then the visible light image and the infrared image, they're going to be in perfect alignment. And that's what you want. Now, I've noticed that from other companies who have fusion, their fusion or their infrared portion does not always align with the visible light, and that can be very disconcerting. You notice the two lenses at the top, the small one, that's the visible light lens, and then underneath that's the infrared lens. And you can switch back and forth with both of these cameras. With them in your hand, you can switch back and forth from picture-in-picture mode, which is what you see on the right-hand side, to full screen mode. Let me show you. I'm going to use the SmartView software to demonstrate this, but let me show you how that works, switching back and forth. So that's picture-in-picture mode. Just picture you've got your camera in your hand. That's what it looks like. That's the picture-in-picture mode so that you can see context. You know where you are. The full screen mode with both of these cameras, you can switch back, just gives you all the infrared portion of it, and sometimes it's a little bit easier, in some cases, actually to focus. Make sure you're in focus, it's sharp, just by going to the full screen mode. So back and forth, picture-in-picture, full screen, regardless of which camera you use. Since both cameras have IR fusion, you might wonder, well, then why does the TiR1 cost more than the TiR? Is there a difference in resolution? Does that justify it? The resolution actually is the same in both of these cameras. It's 160 by 120, which means they have 19,200 detectors. And I would not recommend that you buy a camera that has less than 19,000 pixels, because what's going to happen is you're going to miss details, and details are what it's all about. The less expensive the camera, the lower the resolution, gives you very grainy, kind of blobby images that's difficult, if not impossible, to use in building diagnostics. See, when you're looking at buildings, insulation issues, air leaks, moisture signatures, those are sometimes very small temperature differentials. If you're looking at electrical issues, you have huge differences. But now with building diagnostics, that requires a more sensitive camera with a better resolution. So both this TiR and the TiR1, they have great resolution. Now, that being said, a big factor in the cost of any camera is the sensitivity of the detector array. Notice the data sheet here. You always want to pull the data sheets for cameras and compare these items. You notice the NETD, that stands for noise equivalent temperature differential. It's really the thermal sensitivity of the detectors, and that's going to affect the cost of the camera. They're described in millikelvins. So here's how it works. The lower the number, the lower the millikelvin number, that means you've got greater sensitivity and you're going to have more detail. And that's why the lower the number, the higher the cost of the camera. So when you're talking about locating missing insulation and air leaks and moisture issues, then you're going to need a camera that has a sensitive detector array, one that's at or below 100 millikelvins. And that's why our Fluke TiR and TiR1 are so popular. The TiR, you'll notice, has a 100 millikelvin detector array. The TiR1 has a 70 millikelvin detector array. So it's more sensitive. It'll pick up more details. And that's why then it costs more. The more sensitive the detector array with any camera, then the price is going to go up. So call me if you'd like to see some images taken with both cameras to see, sometimes you just want to kind of see the difference. Well, just give me a call at 888-617-3266, extension 301. I'll give you a website and a password, and you can look at my computer screen and I can show you some images. Now in the next segment, I'll talk about the voice annotation feature in the TiR1 and the accessories that come with both cameras. So I invite you to click on the next segment.